Good morning. Good morning. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. How y'all doing this Monday morning?
Pretty
It's
good.
Monday.
What's going on?
That's good. And who do I got to the left and the right of me? Let's start with the left.
Brian Sanders, lead organizer of Wisconsin Voices. Good morning, Milwaukee.
Joe Dre from Wisconsin Voices.
All right. All right. How y'all doing on this crispy, cool morning?
It's fall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the good old decline. So it's going pretty well. You know, another strong, beautiful, sunny Monday morning. So I'll take that. You know, little
I feel you
Packer
on that
win.
one.
You know,
Yeah,
we'll
they
take
pulled one
that.
out this weekend, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, a little struggle, but you know, I'm glad to see a W either way. How was everybody else's weekend?
Good. Really, really good. Got to do some outdoor stuff and see a little bit more of the state. Made it up by Fond du Lac this weekend. Kind of circled around and saw some more state parks. You know, if you've listened before, that's kind of my goal while I'm here in Wisconsin is to visit every one of the state parks. I did it in Ohio when I was there. So
You hit all the state parks.
I hit
in
all the
Ohio?
state parks in Ohio. So that's kind of my goal while here in Wisconsin is to be able to hit all the state parks. Hit a couple more. So happy about that. And it was just a great weekend.
Have you been to Devil's Lake yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
That's a nice one.
I heard that's a really that, and
Yeah.
there's some up in Door County. I heard are really
Yeah.
nice too. So
Yeah, they got some random little state parks you slide into. Like, oh, okay, these pretty solid.
That don't sound very solid. What you say?
What?
Devil's what?
Devil's Lake.
that was like,
Yeah, it's in Baraboo. It's nice.
Is it hot?
Nah, but
I guess it's super cold then, huh?
it could be hot on one of those trail walks. They got over, I don't know if it's over 17 trails, over 20
Wow.
something trails. They got a lot of trails up there that you could take, and you know they're incline trails. So if you like to go up and you know hit some of those rocky trails, you definitely get a good workout if you hit Devil's Lake or in Baraboo, Wisconsin. So
Shout out to Devil's Lake.
outside of that, you do camping and rock climbing and all that. You know, we went up there like 10 deep one year and did an incline walk or hike, and then we took a nice little walk down. Then ran into some train tracks. It's a beautiful lake. Yeah, you should check it out.
for sure. And you know what else is great is, you know, you don't have to go too far to find things like that. To find a great park, to find a great trail to walk. You know, you got the Oak Leaf Trail right here in Milwaukee.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many
Estabrook
great
Park.
spots
That's
in
where Park got
Wisconsin
the trails, you know.
around Milwaukee. There's just
Yeah.
so many great places to explore and visit. So
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy to go explore. But that's a different topic for a different day. But I had a relaxing weekend. Just chill.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
What y'all got on the agenda for today for the radio show? I know you had some topics, Joe, and then of course I know Latoya, you got something as well.
Absolutely, lots going on this week as far as, you know, in the political realm. Obviously, you know, with the election going on, you know, we're within 30 days of the election, so a lot of push from Wisconsin Voices, from a lot of different organizations in and around Milwaukee and Wisconsin to try to get that final push to help folks get registered to vote, make sure they're aware of the issues and get them out there to vote.
Okay.
One of the other big things going on in the city, is the budget talks for this year. So one of the really, really important things is following the money and where's those investments going, what's the money doing. There's an important budget committee meeting, budget hearing today at 1:00 at City Hall. It's also available online. If you go on the city's website, onto their calendar, you can click the link and watch virtually. But a lot of stuff, hopefully being talked about. I've done a preliminary review of the budget. I'm not going to bore everyone with every detail of it, but just some highlights. The local sales tax that's going into effect. There's some more state shared revenue. And also we had the ARPA dollars that are no longer there. So definitely some challenges and some roadblocks. Just kind of looking over it, I think one thing that I would really like to see is a more equity-centered budget. To implement a framework for equity-centered budgeting that prioritizes funding for programs directly benefiting Black and Brown communities. This should include targeted investments in education, healthcare, and community development. I think that's one area that I would really, really like to see an emphasis put on. Community engagement, diversified revenue streams, investment in public health and safety, and monitoring and accountability, which I think is also really important. We've seen that with MPS, where monitoring and accountability is very important. So, yeah, definitely tune in today at 1:00 and see what's going on with the budget process.
I can honestly say, looking at the overall budget request for next year for 2025, the police budget has decreased 0.2%, which is the biggest majority of our budget, 44% of our budget.
Well, I think, if you take a look also, if you dig into the weeds a little bit, you can see that there are no new police positions being created within the city. Although I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe that's a stipulation of some of that extra money, state shared revenue that we're getting. There's some of those hangups where there should be some additional officers hired. So the question's definitely there with that. So.
Yeah, that is. But that kind of surprised me because it usually goes up every year. Last year we gave them $312,288,000. This year we're giving them $311,500,000.
So each department within the city was asked to reduce their budget by 5%.
Nobody else did.
They were all asked to reduce their budget by 5%. I'm not sure exactly how many of them hit that mark or not. But yeah, that was
police department, public works, fire, emergency communications, library, health, neighborhood services, administrative, all went up.
So right,
the highest is neighborhood services.
So department reductions. Mayor Cavalier Johnson requested all departments, including enterprise funds and sworn staffing sections of police and fire, to propose reductions of 5% from their cost to continue budget requests.
Wow, that would have been nice if they would have respectfully tried to work near that goal. But
I think one of the goals, Latoya, one of the goals is, we want to see a reduced budget because we have to come in line and try to balance that a little bit more so we're not borrowing so much. But it can be really difficult. We don't want to see services that affect the folks that we represent, the folks that we go out there and fight for in those communities. We don't want to see them adversely affected by this budget, where services are being cut, where safety is being cut. I've always said that the local government's main job is safety and service.
Yep, you're right.
And if you can't provide those basic things, why are we doing all these other things if we can't provide the basics of safety and service?
Right. And in those basics of safety and services, I see in those departments, like I said, with the police, they decreased their budget by 0.2%. The other two lowest is the fire department and emergency communications, which the fire department budget only increased by 4.6%, and the emergency communications only 5.6%. So they did stay close, but pretty much everything else, the public works, library, public
Mhm.
works wasn't bad, in health. So these are all the most important departments, and they're finding ways to decrease their budget.
Mhm.
But I would want to know what is the big increase in neighborhood services.
Right.
That would be a good question tonight at the budget hearing
Yep.
this afternoon, and also in library services. Why do library services need to increase so high?
Mhm.
So, and then administrative is the biggest one, 19.1%. So that I can understand we need to pay our staff, but what is the high? Why
Right.
is that the second highest increase?
Well, I think one of the things that really concerns me is the increase in borrowing this year. The mayor is proposing a significant increase in annual borrowing from 96 million to 116 million in 2025 and expects that to continue through 2027.
Mhm.
That it's okay to borrow on things that you need to get done in your city. But there has to be a limit on that because you can get underwater really, really quick
Yes, you
when you
can.
start borrowing. So we know that, that it's the same application in your personal finances. If you
Yes.
borrow too much, eventually you're going to get underwater. So, it's just keeping an eye on those things. Some of the capital budget requests, $40 million for police and fire radio replacements, $8.6 million towards replacing the city's outdated ERP system, and $17 million for the completion of the Port Cruise Dock Terminal.
Right. and no and, and no mention of this $80,000 car that don't work.
Yeah, and that's we're not even getting into the $88,000 art car that was supposed to reduce reckless driving throughout the city of Milwaukee. I would love to
Yeah,
see the
no.
stats once that project's done. If you can send those over to Joe at WisconsinVoices.org, that'd be great.
Yeah, because that's something that we need to definitely work on in neighborhood services is the traffic. It is ridiculous.
Well, there's so many services that are needed. Up here on the north end, especially, we see so much revitalization, so much money being pumped into the downtown. I mean, I just listed one of them as a cruise dock. When we have crumbling roads, potholes, we have crumbling curbs up here, we have vacant businesses and vacant properties. There needs to be a lot of investment up here on the north end, up around Capitol Drive, from the city, if they really want to see real change throughout the city of Milwaukee.
Right, and they're going up on our taxes, and also taxes we paid to We Energies. They're gonna
Mm.
go up on their bills
Yeah,
this
we
year.
could get into that. That's
They have a
9.2.
yeah.
9.2% increase. Then they had a meeting last Monday, I believe, where most of the folks in that room were against the rate increases. There was one group, I believe it was the Union of the Linesmen, that were for the increase. But just to talk a little bit about that, the money that's being raised from those rate increases is going into new infrastructure for for providing electricity to our community. So a lot of that's green energy as well. So it's a double-sided coin. There's a lot of folks that are going to be hurt by the rate increases, but at the same time we're getting some of those infrastructure things put in place that our cities needed for many, many years now. So it's definitely a double-sided coin. I would love to see more programs open up to help folks with their energy bills. Those folks that can't afford those higher rates, is something in place. I know that there's a program now through We Energy, but expanding that program would definitely be a benefit to these folks.
And thank you so much for highlighting that, Joe, because that's really so when you think about the budget, like you said in your personal budget, you tend to usually find ways to decrease it. And when you're borrowing a lot, you have not only should we watch that, but then what is the interest rates on the
Right.
money that you're borrowing? Because you're going to be more and more in the hole if you
And
you
how
can't
long?
borrow yourself out of a hole.
Right. And how long are these
Right.
these loans? A lot of times when the municipalities go for these loans, they're 10, 15, 20, even 30-year loans,
Right.
depending on what the size of the project is and your ability to pay it back. So yeah, it's just something that you have to keep an eye on when borrowing as a municipality, because
Mhm.
like I said, you can get underwater really, really quick.
Yes, definitely. And what are you borrowing it for? Is it something that's
Right.
do or die important that could not be held off?
Now, yeah. Now, I'll say as a councilman, when I did budgets and when we looked at capital projects like that, when they were the more expensive capital projects, we could sometimes get those at 1%.
Okay.
Borrowing that money at 1% or even lower through some of those EPA loans and stuff. But again, it's how long is that going to take to pay off? I know when I was a councilman, we worked really hard to pay some of those off early
Mhm.
to save our city some interest money and
Yeah.
and just to clear them out. A lot of them were related to wastewater treatment and our water treatment facility. That just burdened a small city. It was just so expensive. So those are the things that we look to finance
Right.
when we did our valve replacement. So we were replacing the valves in the water lines and we were exercising and replacing those. That was something that we could pay for out of our capital, just out of our general fund. So it's just kind of picking and choosing which ones you want to borrow, which capital projects you want to borrow on, which ones you want to pay cash for. And obviously it saves a little more when you can pay cash and you don't have to pay those interest fees.
That makes a lot of sense. That does. So, for our community out there will be a budget hearing today at 1 p.m. At City Hall in the Rotunda area. So please, if you want to know what's going on with our city's budget, you have concerns about your taxes going up, because it will definitely go up on homeowners, and then for renters in the community, that those tax increases go to the customer. So if you're renting, you're a customer, it goes to you. So landlords figure out ways to raise their taxes as well. I mean, raise their rents and bills as well. I mean, payments as well, when it's reflected to them. So it's important to get out there and get up there to City Hall and be concerned and be listening ears on what our budget is and where with our money that we're collecting for this budget will be going. So if we have anyone in the community that would like to see something added to the budget or taken out of, please give us a call at 414-444-5250 or 414-444-5253. And back to you, Brian.
Well, hello. I didn't even know it was going back to me. Y'all got me on point. I'm over here reading about this whole
Sanitizing your hands.
sanitizing my hands also, but looking at this budget and just everything that y'all are talking about, and the borrowing and the Act 12, and I was just, public safety is my concern, and also infrastructure to not only the whole city but the north side and the northwest side is important for me, because this is where my heart is. And when it comes to Milwaukee, I'm not taking away from anybody else's side, the east, the south, wherever you was raised, but north and the northwest side of Milwaukee is extremely important to me. So I want to see some work put in over here. Y'all won't and can't keep avoiding it, because you'll see what happens when you keep avoiding it. It's going to be organizations and groups that are going to keep challenging it. And, Wisconsin Voices is definitely going to stand with those that are making positive strides towards seeing something change on this side and other sides of cities where it's either impoverished or we're getting, lack of better words, of any type of love when it comes to
the shared revenue.
There we go. There you go. Yeah. So what else we got going on? This weekend, I guess this past weekend, outside of, and this past week, which was just busy, we did have other things in play. I do want to show some love to Progressive Baptist Church for inviting us out to their kickball game this past weekend.
Okay, how was it?
Yeah, they had a good time. I was itching not to get up there because it was on the same field that we I was itching not to get on that field. So it was on the field. It was on the same field as when my cousin Drika, her side of the family, the Hazelwoods and the Wigleys, and it'd be like a mix of families come up there, and we would go play a kickball game every Sunday. And we were playing. It was at Madison, so I was reminiscing all the times that we was up there with different groups of the families, and we'd be up there playing kickball. So I wanted to get up there and play, but we had to run around, make sure You know, people were taking care of business out there doing the registration. So again, just get this out. Please contact Wisconsin Voices, whoever you know, individually or as a group, that you if you have anybody that needs to be registered to vote, please let them, you know, let us know so we can get you guys registered. Looks like we have a call. Go ahead, Tori. You want to go ahead? Like you know
Hi,
that one.
caller. You're on the air.
This is Andrew Ward.
Hi, Mr. Ward.
What's
How
going on,
you
Mr.
doing?
Ward? How you
How you
doing?
doing, sir?
Not as well as you, sight unseen.
Oh,
Oh.
hope you can feel
Hi.
better.
Well, okay. I have two observations I want to make about the budget as it relates to MPS budget. It's my understanding that the city owns and controls the school properties, the school buildings. But the MPS budget has to maintain and do whatever has to be done with them. And there's a terrible waste of money on all ends for those buildings to not be demolished, rehabbed, or something. They spent too
Yeah.
long for nothing. Another thing is the third Friday distribution of per pupil appropriations for MPS. Outside a school outside MPS choice of voucher, they get paid for the whole year for each student that's there on the third Friday. After that, they can send them back to MPS with no remuneration. That needs to be corrected yesterday.
Yes.
Yep.
I
And y'all
agree.
have done.
I agree, Mr. Ward. Thank you so much for highlighting both of those very good points. Like he said, after the third week of school for the third Friday, those choice schools are paid out for that child's
whole
school
year.
year. Yep.
For the whole year.
And that child can end up going back to UPS. They can
Mhm.
actually close that school and send all the kids back to MPS, and there's no reprise from it. So
Yeah.
we need to
Definitely problems there.
we
He
need
also
to
mentioned
correct that loophole.
he also mentioned the abandoned buildings and that there's a lot of vacant properties, you know, that are either city owned or privately owned. You know, they need to be dealt with. There needs to be a system and a process in place where we're dealing with these properties, so that they're not a blight on our community, so they're not a magnet for crime, and so that we can beautify our city and make it more usable, so that we can utilize all
Yeah.
the space that's available to us, whether it's we make it a green space or a new business or a new apartment building, whatever. We definitely need to clean up some of those spots.
Because I'm wondering where is the open for business signs anyway to try to bring some of these, you know, more of these companies that are looking for setting up shop in certain, you know, black communities across the country. You know, we need to, if there's not somebody out there that's trying to, you know, continuously help either local local businesses or, you know, the hell, let's extend some of that business out to some of these other organizations across the country that may want to help, you know, improve Milwaukee, or help, you know, be on the forefront of bringing some type of, you know, technology to the inner city, you know, especially if it's anything that's going to be, you know, that could bring in more new jobs, you know, and it could be just a small warehouse business that, you know, bringing in 30-40 jobs. I mean, like you said, whatever. I was looking at too how they redone the other day. They was talking about how they what's the school over here? I think it's Edison, or one of the schools. They had turned it into, you know, I guess developers over there. They had took what school was that? I guess Gorman did it. They did another school over here, turned it into 63 1 and 2 bedroom units, as well as
I
12
was just gonna
townhomes.
say another apartment
Yeah.
building, which is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, we have a housing issue here, and
Yeah.
you know, and we definitely need more. And this is more affordable units. So it was Thomas Calhoun, was Edison School Apartments. So I believe that's what it is, Edison School Apartments. But I mean, if it's gonna help, you know, keep another school from looking, you know, torn, you know, dilapidated and crazy in another neighborhood, I'm with that.
We're utilizing those
Yeah.
spaces
Yeah.
and finding new ways to
Yeah.
utilize those spaces, as where it was once used to teach students, now it's used to
Mhm.
house folks. So repurposing those properties and those places is is
Yeah.
important to the rebuilding of the city.
And we need to start doing that a lot quicker, because you have a lot of as um, we were pointing out, you have a lot of old vacant school buildings that actually are eyesores to the community. Or you have three schools in one, and like, why didn't you just fix up one of these other buildings and have each school different grade levels, different curriculums, names, and all in a different building, and show those students that they are important and you do care about them. Because we have our MPS has a large budget, and I'm seeing that we all are kind of on edge about what are you doing with all of that money you're constantly asking for. And how are you educating our, first of all, how are you educating
Right.
our students?
What's the quality
Yeah,
level of
what's
the
the-
education that these students are coming out of, and are they prepared for the real world? Are they prepared for college? Are they prepared for trade schools? What are they, what is that preparing them for, and what's the quality of education that they're getting? And a lot of times, like you said, Latoya, you can't throw money at the problem.
Right.
Sometimes you have to reimagine ways to teach folks. Sometimes you have to reimagine the process that you use, and that you've been doing all this time that hasn't worked. Maybe
Right.
it's time we think outside the box a little bit on how to
Right.
handle education and how to approach this problem.
Yeah, you said it right there, Joe. Well, again, we want to thank you, Mr. Ward, for calling
Yeah,
in.
thank you.
We want to hear from the community. The number is 414-444-5250, 414-444-5253. We're going to take a break. And after the break, we're going to have some more interesting community topics for the community. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, 860 WNOV, 106.5 FM.
All right. Toya over here. Look, hold on now, Toya. All right, we got this. We always gonna be together and make sure we get it right here. We are back on Be a Voice, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5. Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Hey y'all ready for this this winter? Y'all ready for the winter?
No, not a bit.
They are already making they already trying to throw out some possible winter, I guess, is some expectations for for Wisconsinites. It says Wisconsinites can hold off on grabbing their snow boots for a little longer. Looks like we'll have a mild and slightly wet fall. The weather patterns could continue through the winter. So it looks like the U.S. has a 74% chance. Remember La Nina and all that, like El
And
Nino,
El Nino and
and
La
all that
Nina.
conditions. So I guess with La Nina,
La Nina.
Nina, I think
La
Nina.
Nina.
While there's a 40% chance of this being a moderate event. So I'm guessing, right now we're looking at a mild winter and a mild fall and a mild winter. So you see, it's kind of mild now. Look at this.
Lovely because I don't want to shovel no snow.
Man, look at
Music
what we've
to
been
my ears.
experiencing since we got. I mean, even when we was okay. Gonna catch that call. Look what we've been experiencing since we got back from even in DC. It was just like 80s, and then all of a sudden it's just been gradually going down. So we got a caller. Go ahead and get that call.
Caller, you on the air?
Yeah, I'm a resident in the city of Milwaukee,
Okay.
and I have listened to a lot of people talk about what's going on right or wrong with MPS and all like that.
Mhm.
But one thing I would really like people to know is there are school board directors sitting there. And at any given time, if you live in any one of them districts, you can call that school board director and you will get a direct answer as to what you want to know. But my advice to anybody is you can call the main line of Milwaukee Public Schools and you can get directed to anywhere that has any program in all of Milwaukee Public Schools, because there's a recreation area, there's one for finance, there's one for human resources, there's everything. And if people don't utilize what talents they have to ask the question, then that leaves people in saying, well, what are they doing with the money? Well, if the people in Madison would cut loose some of that money, it wouldn't have been a referendum. That's number one. And you look what you're up against up in Madison. You got all those other people that really vote against any socialized things that have to do with public school in Milwaukee. And that's the truth.
Okay.
I mean, when it boils down to it. Now, politically, I'm not going to get it. This makes it political, and it really isn't a guardianship for the children that are here. And if you look at I'm look at the coloring of the system that we have now. It's not like I went to school when it was all different kind of people. But I'm just saying. And then how does that leave those people that are in charge up there in Madison? And really, if somebody wants to really go for something, they need to be calling those state assembly people and them state senators up there and getting down and asking them, why aren't you cutting the money loose? And that's the truth.
Okay.
And third Friday count that Dr. I forget what his name is, but
Dr.
the person
Ward.
that Dr. Ward, he told the truth. He said, when third Friday count come, they can send them kids back to public school. And again, they get their money, but MPS doesn't get their money back from bringing them kids back to the school. See, that's another question people need to be asking. How come you ain't giving them their money back?
Right.
And then nobody, yeah, right.
And that's a big loophole. Yep.
Right. And as far as count money, nobody on a board anywhere puts their hands directly on any money. I've asked the question. I got a school board representative. I've asked anybody, but I'm going to say it like this. If your school board representative ain't doing his job or her job, then that's a different story. But don't assume nothing. If you don't ask the question, it will never get done or heard.
You are correct.
That's for real.
Thank you
But
so
y'all
much
have
for your comments.
You have a good day.
I
Okay.
appreciate
You
that. Thank
too.
you so much.
We appreciate you.
Bye-bye,
Thank you
sweetie.
so much.
All right, looks like we got another
Do
caller.
we have another caller on the air?
It's me again.
Hi, Dr. Ward.
I forgot something. We're talking about the blight of this city and where people are dumping in public places, and you have to go to New York and come back through California to get the city to do anything about it. A suggestion is a simple, common sense suggestion. Get a garbage truck, that route them throughout the whole city to clean up whatever's out there. And then they need to stop charging so much for you to dump. You can't dump.
Yep.
That's why people throw it on the street.
Yeah.
And put more dumpers on the street more regularly.
Yep.
And y'all have a good one.
You know, that brings
Thank
up
you so much for your
Hey,
comments.
brings up a really, really good point, because I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of municipalities where they will go into neighborhoods, or say at the end of your block, and say on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning from 8 to noon, there's going to be a dump truck sitting down at the end of your block. So if you have anything, any big items or whatever, any kind of extra junk that's there, you can bring that down there for free and dump it.
Mhm.
And you know, you can do this once every
Hey.
2 months or once a month,
Straight up.
and it solves so much
Hey.
problem of the illegal dumping.
Us in the community, we got people out here who got the money to do it. Come together, whether you're or individuals in the community
Mhm.
who can go and say, hey, this is the Milwaukee County Dumpster Day. We got 3-4 dumpsters
Yep.
set up. We got trucks, come through and just drop off anything that is, respectable for the dumpsters. Don't be doing no
Yeah.
crazy drop offs, anything too wild, but the stuff that
Stuff you can't fit in a garbage
fit
can,
in the garbage
or
can,
fit
stuff
out
like
to the
that.
curb.
Yeah, we will be out here with 4
Yeah.
dumpsters back to back to back. But that was even one of the topics I wanted to talk to y'all about, and we get back to the weather stuff. And thank y'all too for calling in
Yeah,
with
thank
those two, just expressing your views
Mhm.
about the budget and state.
And anybody else that want to call in about the budget,
Yeah.
please call 414-444-5250 or 414-444-5253.
Yeah,
We want to hear from you.
yeah, definitely. Please call in. That legal dumping, just to get back to it, Toya and Joe, it was costing the city. It says it's costing the city 1.2 million annually.
Wow.
So the thing is, they want to try to put up some cameras as well to try to stop some of the dumping. But like you said, you see even right in the back from where we see in the alley, the couches, the mattresses,
Mhm.
TVs, speakers. I remember some subwoofers out there the other week that I was looking at.
I seen a mattress on Capitol
Yeah,
in the middle of the
Mhm.
aisle.
yeah,
It was like they
yeah.
just
But you
literally
have to provide
dumped
folks
it.
the opportunity to get rid of those things.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is a service that should be provided by the city of
It
Milwaukee.
used to. Don't you remember?
Mhm. The dump.
And
Yep.
don't everybody
The city
remember when they used to have the spring? It'd be spring
You
cleaning
talking about
or
the yellow?
fall
You talking about
cleaning.
they used to put them in the neighborhoods?
The big green ones or
Yeah.
yellow ones in each neighborhood,
Mhm.
every couple of blocks, maybe every 10 blocks,
Yeah, you
You
will
would-
see them
they would
way
have-
more in the city.
Yeah. where people can dump. Now they're
But you-
telling them to go out on a industrial road and
Yeah.
they're charging people. So people
yeah.
are making a solution. Just dump it somewhere.
Especially folks that are trying to
And-
do the right thing, clean up their
Yeah.
properties. We talk about blighted properties and properties looking overrun. So some folks, maybe they want to clean those up, but then it's going to cost them a fortune to get rid of the stuff to
Mhm.
dump it. So the city, as a service, and we talked about safety and service, and that's the
Mhm.
main responsibility of city government. As a service, they should provide that
Mhm.
to residents where they can
were.
dump
They took it
for
away.
free
Yeah.
at least once a month. Set
Mhm.
up and like Brian said, if the city's not going to do it, it's going to be on the organizations and the individuals.
And that's what the article does say. Just giving credit to Milwaukee Journal Soon. It says the neighborhood groups say that the city can do more, just like y'all saying right here.
Mhm.
It says in April, community organizations from 20 neighborhoods sent a letter to the Common Council and the mayor with 10 recommendations to address illegal dumping. Their suggestions include reducing the fees at city dumps. So reducing because those have went up, and I got tons of people, or if anybody wants to call in and attest to the fees at city dumps or how you see about this, please give us a call, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5253. They also say, just like we were saying, hosting pop-up dumping sites and forming an illegal dumping subcommittee. I would be interested in assisting with that, for the community organizations that have mentioned that, let's get together. Let's do a community organization subcommittee. And I know Latoya, that would be her lane, and that would be Joe's lane, and myself. I would anything to cut down the trash in our city.
Yeah, we talked about that. We had a whole show on that, if you remember,
Mhm.
Brian.
We did. We was
illegal, like outside
illegal
this
dumping.
beautiful building. Y'all
Yeah.
keep this beautiful building up. But it's a shame that the curb, you got boxes of Popeyes.
Yep.
You got not being funny, but sanitation pads and boxes and stuff out. Like, come
Yeah.
on, y'all. It's like you just throwing stuff out your window as you go down the road. But you do understand that's just the small littering. These what you guys are talking about is these big
Mhm.
Mattresses,
couches and
couches,
because me
Dressers
and
and-
yeah.
Joe, and I don't know if you pay
Yeah.
attention,
Oh,
Brian,
yeah.
but
Oh, you
from
know.
Joe
Oh, come
office,
on. Yeah.
we watch
You know I pay
every
attention. It's
other
right
week
there.
they
Mhm.
clean up behind those apartment buildings next to the office on Hope. And every week somebody comes and dumps. I mean, it's like they dumped a whole apartment they cleaned out
It's
or
like they
something.
just backed their
Apartment
truck up and
building.
just dumped
Yep.
it and just
Like
drove
an
down the
apartment
alley.
building, they be having 3 or 4 couches.
Mhm.
A good 10 to 16 bags of clothes and all. It's like they know where they can illegally dump,
Right.
and they don't even put it in the dumpster. They
Nope.
put it on the outside of the
It's
dumpster.
right beside the dumpster.
Right
Yeah.
beside
where the garbage truck can't get in
So-
to dump the dumpster.
Check this out. Here go. Look at this number right here. Look at this number right here. 1,300 bags of trash and 177 tires. More than a year ago, this was in Haven Woods. So this is Haven Woods partnering with neighborhood partnership with Riverworks Development Corporation and Safe and Sound.
If anybody
Yeah.
know, that's by McGovern Park, right on the other side of where that army base is,
Mhm.
Haven Woods. Yeah.
So, for example, with those organizations partnering, Haven Woods neighborhood partnership hired a team called the Street Keepers to free its community of waste. This year, the Street Keepers, and much love and shout out to Street Keepers as well, have collected 1,300 bags of trash, 177 tires.
You see what I'm saying? That the city got to do better with those charging those prices and be more concerned about making ways that people will be able to dispose of anything that they no longer want. We have a caller on the air. Let's how you doing, caller?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going
Hey,
good.
good
And how
morning.
was your day?
It started out rough. I'm a school bus driver, but I'm okay now. I'm taking my little break in between AM and PM.
Yo, woosah, huh?
Amen.
Make sure you eat you something good.
Right. And I wanted to comment on the budget, if that's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
great.
All right, cool. So, I am just a citizen, but I've been living in Milwaukee for over 20 years. I got 6 children, and I've got some experience under my belt, so to speak. So I know how to
Okay.
do some budgeting.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
I think it would be imperative if more of the community had the budgeting broken down for them, which you guys are doing. I'm thankful you're doing that on the radio.
Okay.
For more of the community to be aware of it. And I noticed too that the mayor has been implementing to try to get the information out to more people or available to more people, which is absolutely great. And then how do we get the community on board to reduce the budget too?
That's a good
So-
question.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
good question.
just some thoughts. I care a lot.
Right.
Okay.
We need more
I
people
love
to
we
care.
see
that,
We
and
need
thank
more
you
people
so
to care.
much.
That's what we need. We need more people to care about
Yeah.
our community, and that's great.
And that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's why we were thinking of some ways, like with the illegal dumping. If they would take down the fees of people having to go out to industrial road. Also, something that we didn't talk about in that is paying for the travel to be able to dispose
Get
of the
it
stuff.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To get it there.
Yeah.
So people tend to don't do it because they gotta either get a U-Haul or what are the trailer go to one of the trailer companies that costs. So
Right.
figure out somewhere closest to me, or if I can borrow somebody pickup truck and get him $10 to go a couple of blocks up and throw it in the back of a building, why not? It just saved me from spending a whole lot of money. So sometimes with these budgets, and like you said, caller, that we need to start getting involved and start caring more, because some of these our problems are because we're study trying to find a way to add money to it. Oh, if we go up on the dumping prices, then we'll make more money in the city. Well, no, you're not. You're actually losing more money because people are not utilizing that. They're utilizing the other way. The
Right.
back doorway is to dump it somewhere, and then you, which makes us, the citizens, residents of the community, be taxed more for you to go out and now clean up the community because of the illegal dumping. So we got to figure out better ways, like you said, as a mama six, you figure out ways to decrease your budget and not make it so hard on yourself versus just
Right.
adding a way to, oh, I'm gonna go borrow more money. If you borrow more money, then that's an extra bill that's gonna have interest rates. So can you afford that? So yeah.
Right. Right.
Yep.
When if I may note one more thing,
Mhm.
thank you so much for commending me for that. Sometimes it just takes a smile and an encouraging word, and that's what I'm hoping to offer right now. And then, one adult goes to the next adult, and then the adult says, hey, you know what? We're going to show our youth this too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I just hope it becomes more contagious. I've been continuously staying positive in the face of negative things for the past 20 years. And, not perfectly or nothing, but definitely striving for it. And
You
there's some
sound like
beautiful
an
community
amazing
leaders.
person.
Thank you. There's some beautiful community leaders in our city that are been banding together for some time. So I'm hoping to see more of that.
Right.
Right. You
Yeah.
are right.
That's
You
our
are
goal.
right.
That's one of the things that we want to keep doing through Wisconsin Voices, making sure that we unify and make sure people understand that we will not get to where we want to be if we're not coming together and using our brains to strategize and show them that we're an active community looking to see more success and more opportunity for not just, like I said, north and northwest side, but the whole city of Milwaukee.
Yep. More improvement.
Yeah, thank you for that call. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a great
Appreciate that.
day.
You too.
You as well.
Drive
You
safe
as
out
well.
there. Be
Drive
safe out
safe.
there.
And make sure you
Thanks,
get
Dad. I
your
like
woosah.
that.
But
Yeah.
Brian, you hit the point, and just to answer one of our questions in there is, what can we do?
Mhm.
My mom always had a saying that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. We got to fight
Yeah.
because those folks in those other communities, they're fighting for money as well.
Mhm.
They're being a loud voice. They're standing up.
Mhm.
We need to do it too. We need, like you said, we need to band together and say, no, our community needs new roads. We
Yeah.
need spots to dump our trash that it's
Yeah.
not going to cost us. We
Right.
need these things. And these are services that we need up here. And you
Mhm.
need to hear us.
Yeah.
To add to that, Joe, we need to start coming to the city with solutions.
Right. Not just problems.
Like now, when we all go down there to hear the budget hearing, it's just to see where I got you, what's wrong. And we need to really, really consider going down there with solutions. Like it would be very good if some of us in this city could go down there and literally say, instead of charging people to dump stuff, you should bring the dumpsters back to the communities once a month, or make a plan to set it up for different community, different neighborhoods for once a month, or once every couple of weeks, so people can start dumping stuff in dumpsters instead of going to dump them anywhere they can get less cost.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. We got to really start being mindful and think about solutions to take to them, because they can't solve everything for us.
Right.
We got to come with solutions as well.
100%.
All right.
We have a
Caller.
caller on the air, and after that caller, we're going to take a break.
My comment is, you had a caller that called in before saying if Madison would send us our fair share, things would be better. Now, Milwaukee is the financial vehicle of Wisconsin. So there are other counties that are not bringing in quite naturally the money that we are. So we're making up differences for them too. And they're asking for more money. So we're getting a double whammy, not getting our money back, subsidizing the other counties, and they're getting a better take at this thing than we are. And,
Right.
and you can complain all you want. For years, this has been happening. And after so long, you can see the results of what they've been doing to Milwaukee.
Mhm.
You are
It
correct.
Tonight. It
Right.
has not been fair. So
You
we
are
need
correct.
Republican elect. You need a two-party system, but you need somebody to work across the aisle and have the mindset to say, let's do what's best for the people and our children. And
Yep.
it's not about that anymore. It's sad where we're going. And I have another question. I heard someone saying that Donald Trump created this Bible with the Constitution and all this stuff in there. Anybody can go and reprint the Bible. Don't you have to get permission? I'm gonna hang up.
No, you don't.
No, I don't think you need permission to reprint the Bible, but yeah.
No, you don't. I don't even think
What?
it's a per se author of the
No,
Bible.
no.
Not one specific person, corporation, or
Nobody owns the
the
copyrights to the
Bible.
Bible.
Is what I mean.
Right, because you got all different versions. You got King James, you got
Uh-huh.
the New Living
Yeah.
version. And,
You can create your
yeah,
own version.
The NIV version, yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much, caller, for your points that you did highlight. Thank everybody for calling again. Give us a call if you have anything you want to discuss about the budget. We're going to take a break. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, 860 WNOV, 106.5 FM.
We have made it back. Where we going into next? I know we've been hitting some pretty cool topics.
Yep.
Or minutes left.
We're short time.
All right, so let's go ahead and just
So
go
we're
into
talking
everything.
about solutions for
All right.
Yeah.
the budget that we can take to
Or anything, right?
Trash dumping solutions,
Or
all that.
anything.
We don't got that much time.
We
left.
don't
It's
have
like
that much
4
time
minutes.
for another caller. If you would call in, I would give you like a minute, but then I would probably be telling you would have to call back another time. I keep it real. This is
Well,
called Keep It Real.
We'll
But
just wrap it up between the three of us.
Yeah.
So what's going on this week? What do you see on the agenda for this week within just Wisconsin Voices or anything that you got going on?
We're more about the election.
Mhm.
We're wrapping up to register, being able to register people to vote. So just like you said earlier, Brian, it is really important that if you need to be registered, if you moved, if you have not voted in a while, I say since 20, You definitely 2022. To be honest with you, you definitely need to check your registration and be
Mhm.
re-registered because they purge people off the list.
All the time.
It is important for us to vote. Speak your voice. Let your voice be heard through your ballot, as well as not just for your president. I strive to say this so often now because I feel like we got away from the importance that we need to vote for our local elected officials, our state representatives, our senators. These are the people that writes the legislation, which are the laws and bills that can be passed without your president's signature, your governor's signature. So it is really important for people to go and vote because and also for more than just the president. It is very imperative for us to get out there and have our voices heard. You cannot complain about something, as my mother always said, a closed mouth don't get fed. I'm gonna say that again, a closed mouth don't get fed. If you hungry and don't say nothing and all the food get divided out to everybody else at the table, you cannot then complain about not being able to eat because you didn't say you were hungry. You just sat there and didn't say anything. When we split the food out to everybody, then you decide to complain. It's a little too late. Then now you're asking for people to take off their plate and share with you, which we could have did all of this from the beginning if we utilize our right to go vote. So please, everyone, know how important your right to vote is. So that's pretty much what we wrapping up for this week, Brian. In the partnership and organizational department, you, me, Shanita up in Madison, we're all going to be striving to make sure people get educated and know and have a vote plan. Are you voting early? Do you need to register? Where's your location? What time, date you going to vote? And what are you doing, Joe?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be meeting with.
that was long.
That was I don't think I can go quite that long. I think we're really short time now. But I will say
You gotta
that
wrap it up.
I'm going to be working with my team on election protection for this November election this week. So
Oh, we gonna need that.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is it right there, y'all. You're on Bill Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
You guys have a rest of the day. Great rest of the day.